Hello, good evening. How you doing? That was pretty cool. Welcome to the Attitude Shift. I'm Donna M. Butler. You're about to step into the virtual red Corvette, and it wouldn't be a ride. It wouldn't be fun. It wouldn't be the best ride you're going to have on a Wednesday night without the lovely, in red, I might add, Siobhan Shaw. Siobhan, you know what? Every week, I think it's your birthday. Your birthday, though. You know, you age beautifully. You look really great. I haven't talked to you on camera since your birthday. So happy birthday. And you look great in
Thank
red.
you. Thank you so much. So I've turned the big 5-0, but I haven't started to slide downhill yet. Is that right? Thanks
Right.
very much. Appreciate
Roll downhill.
it. Stumble downhill. I drank some wine to that.
I know. Okay.
It's not wine, but we'll go with it. You look great, by the way. You're having your hair done somewhere special. I've been seeing on your Facebook page. It looks awesome. It looks really good.
Thank you. I give it all to shameless plug of Hair Plus and Zachary. That's where I'm at right now. Kind of goofing off having a kid in a candy store. That's what they call me. Because I get to play in all the hair.
But our hair wasn't looking so good last week because we got challenged. We finally got challenged. I thought I'd really dodged that bullet, that people just weren't thinking of me, or they thought that a Canadian couldn't be challenged to the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, the huge charity social media success that is going on to raise funds for ALS, or as it's commonly known, Lou Gehrig disease.
That's right.
And it's got a very long name I can't even pronounce, so
I'm not even going to try.
So you don't even try, I'm not going to try. But you guys can look it up. It's very easy, ALS. Check it out. It's all over the internet now. But that's, you know, that's what we're going to talk about tonight, and you're going to rev your engine first. But basically, with the Attitude Shift, what we do is we talk about being more aware and more self-aware. And throughout this process of the Ice Bucket Challenge, I became aware of my attitude and feeling towards the Ice Bucket Challenge. And I did a little bit of a shift on it as I got that notice from my friend that I was going to have to do it. So we're going to talk about that, but it really ties in with the Attitude Shift because there is so much negativity surrounding this.
Oh my gosh,
event.
yes.
It's startling to me, but I did have some negative feelings myself towards it. So that's why we, decided to do it. It's in the news right now. It's for a great cause, and the attitudes, though, coming up are surprising. There are some really surprising ones. But first, I want you to rev your engine and get this little red virtual Corvette out of the garage and on the road for the night.
Well, we're going to do that, and as many of you know, that lately we've been doing a little shift, little PSA, quickies on the Attitude Shift page on Facebook. And they always tie in with maybe something going on or maybe something around me. Well, my revving my engines tonight. Blue Ivy. Okay, let's just keep it real. I want to rev my engines not about Blue Ivy, Beyonce's daughter, but more or less about the attitude about Blue Ivy's hair. Okay, I wish I had, when we get all set up one day, we'll be able to say Blue Ivy's hair. And they'll pop up a picture of Blue Ivy's hair. But in the meantime, you can find Blue Ivy's hair. Just go in there and type Blue Ivy in a Google search, and you're going to pull up Beyonce's daughter. Anyway, on a show called 106 in Park, which airs on BET, Black Entertainment Television, there was, they were talking about the faces of people. They would show a face and from the MTV Awards, and they would say, what is the person thinking? Well, they showed a picture of Blue Ivy sitting on her daddy's lap, and the singer, I think it was a singer, that made the comment said, I woke up this way, period. That was all. Kind of a funny joke, just saying the child woke up that way. Don't fault me, I woke up this way. So immediately the personality that was saying this said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I love you, Blue Ivy." And she felt uncomfortable. You could tell it was a scripted joke, that she was reading it. Well, apparently there was a big stink about it, and the producer who wrote the joke was suspended today from BET. Revving my engines on this right now because I'm looking at some person who lost their job for making a joke about something that everyone has been talking about ever since this child's picture first was taken. Now, I'm not going to say anything about the child's hair other than in the African American community, Blue Ivy's hair is nappy. It's just considered nappy, not combed. You can call it, going natural, whatever. But in the black community, the way her hair is looking, it's being dubbed as nappy. Okay, so apparently Beyonce was offended, her camp was offended, and this person is temporarily suspended, the producer. Revving my engines on this is like, you know what? Since when can't we make jokes? We make jokes about people with physical handicaps. We make jokes about President Barack Obama. We make jokes about people that stutter. We make jokes about everything and everybody. Why can't a joke be made about Blue Ivy's hair? It offended Beyonce, so the whole freaking world has to stop turning?
Well, we've done shows on being offended, and you can't be offended unless you allow yourself to be offended. So there's no taking offense. I've taken offense to that. It's an ego-driven attitude, right? Oh, I'm better than you, so I'm going to take offense at what you said. You really have to stop and think about this. And who made the decision to actually get rid of the guy, to suspend him, would probably be, in my estimation, I'm just assuming, it would be somebody at BET that actually made the final decision to suspend him.
Exactly.
Unless, of course, Beyonce owns BET.
Don't think she owns BET, okay. No.
So here's the thing. Lots of people talk about her child's hair. This is the way she wants her child's hair to be. That's fine. That's cool.
That's fine.
Great. That's awesome. Do whatever you want to do.
That's right.
But think about the fact that you are taking offense. And the fact that you've used your star power, your influence, to have somebody suspended from their job for doing their job.
For doing their job. And
doing their job probably at the level everybody else in that industry is doing it. The stories about her daughter's hair, the comments throughout the internet, I'm sure there's millions of comments. I know it's been something that you brought up a year ago, or 6 months ago.
Yes.
I mean, I've not even taken a look at who she is, and I've never seen a picture of the child, but the thing is you take a look at the influence and the power that you wield, and wield it carefully.
Exactly.
And if you're going to take offense, it better be a very serious offense. Like I'm going to take offense, I'm going to take offense of the guy who breaks in and rapes and murders my family, right? I have a right to take offense, right?
Right.
But
I believe that.
I have, all these little things that in the long run mean nothing, matter nothing. They don't really matter.
Right.
You won't remember in 5 years or 10 years about this.
Exactly. And that's what I was saying.
I forgot about it between the first time I heard about it and now. The thing is, come on, people, stop the battle.
Right.
Stop
I love that.
battling.
I love that. Stop the battle. And with that being said, more power to her. Whatever she wants to do with her child's hair, again, that's her business.
Yeah.
But what happens is when people aren't allowed the freedom to say what they, want to say about it. I don't think her child's going to be on Facebook crying. But Mom, they're talking about my hair.
Yeah, just back down, settle down, relax, take an attitude shift.
Take a shift.
Just shift out of it. Because I had to. I was really having trouble with this ice bucket
I
challenge, and
know you were. I know.
I was dreading being asked. I knew I'd eventually be asked. I mean, I thought that maybe one of our friends was going to ask me or challenge me, but she thought I was, because I was Canadian, she couldn't, because she made a post to that effect. And I don't know if she was talking about me. She might not have been, but I think I'm the only Canadian she knows. So the thing is, I was dreading it. And a couple of reasons I was dreading it. One, I really didn't want to douse myself in cold water on video, get my hair all wet. Like I care. But I do care what I look like. I do care what I look like. The second thing is I couldn't believe that I was going to have to do this and donate money and push it on my social media accounts. Right. And I thought that was kind of overkill. That was asking me too much. Now, I thought that if I did it, I shouldn't have to donate money because I'm donating my social influence. And I have a lot of social influence between the show and my personal page, and I have a lot of friends that would probably get in on the act, right?
Right.
Not all of them want to, or did, but I was just like, no, that's not right, because you want me to do this thing, make myself look like a fool, right? And then look like I just got out of the shower, and then you want me to challenge some other people. So who in the world am I going to challenge that's not going to be upset with me, right? So I picked my family.
I know, I saw that.
I
love it.
But the thing is, I didn't want to do it for the main reason. I thought I was being forced to donate to something I didn't want to donate to, or I wouldn't have donated.
I think a lot.
It's not something in my wheelhouse. If it's cancer or leukemia, Alzheimer's, those are things that have influenced my life. They're my center of influence. But
I think a lot of it came from people, because I heard a lot of people that said, Donna, whatever you do, don't ask me to do it. I had people say, A, I don't want to mess my hair up. B, I would just rather donate the money. I don't want cold water dumped on me. You heard all of that. And I think a lot of it was people just didn't want to be put in an uncomfortable, position. I mean, who wants to be doused, like you said, with cold water on video, and then turn around and issue that to someone else after you just suffered through it?
No, I know. So no, you don't, and you're actually afraid of the water. I was afraid of the water. I really kind of got some fear come up. There was some trepidation there. I was like, oh, this is going to be freaking cold. So I actually looked up the rules, because I heard all these different rules, and one of them was if you took the challenge, you did the ice bucket thing, you had to challenge 3 people. I've also heard that you had to challenge 5. I also heard they had to accept or decline the except there was no declining, because there was a whole lot of peer pressure and bullying going on. So you had to accept the challenge and do it within 24 hours. And the other thing is you had to donate $10 when you did the ice bucket challenge, and if you declined it, you had to donate $100.
Right, but see,
hello, not everybody in the world has a big bank account, and sometimes it's very hard for somebody to come up with $10 extra. School's starting, it's the end of summer, there's people are trying to get businesses off the ground, they're living on a shoestring, and $10 to a cause that they wouldn't have put $10 towards is tough, because that $10 is milk and bread.
Right. But there comes the attitude of saying no. There comes the attitude, there comes the declining. There comes the I pass. Once again, you use something that is very mighty. Peer pressure, bullying. They call your name out on social media. As soon as I got called out, I busted out laughing. But I said, you know what? And you know me. I'm like going, okay, great. All righty then. I'm gonna do it my way. And exactly right. So I decided to do it at my place of business
Yeah.
and get everyone there to donate and make it a free day if anyone wanted to come out and challenge anyone to do that
Right.
there. And then I kind of made a funny out of it. Some people thought, oh, I knew you would do that. I knew you wouldn't let, someone dump water on your head. And I'm going to be honest, I was like, hell no, I'm not going to let anybody dump a bunch of water on I'll dump water on your head all day long.
Do you know how long it
But
takes me to get my hair like that?
do you know how long it takes me? Exactly. Do you know how long it takes me?
It doesn't take me very long, but it takes you very long.
We donated. We had a good time. My daughter managed to get me wet, on the back. She did. That was all good. It was all in fun. But they knew. They knew that, I'm not for that. It's a great cause. You can say what you want because I'm not going to be forced into doing that. They're talking about the girl in Mississippi, I think, that broke her neck when the bucket hit her head. And
she actually...
And they said she broke her neck and was in a coma or whatever. I have not been able to verify that. Let me tell you right now, I have not been able to verify that story. I thought by now I would be able to tell you, but I've heard it's a hoax. I heard the family is now very private about it. They don't want to discuss it. I don't know if that's true or not, but it goes back to not being able to say no. Do you think I'm going to stand and let Michael drop and that was a bin. That was a storage, bin thing. To take a chance of Michael putting that over my head and drop that over my head, no. I mean, you have to take some type of responsibility for doing this challenge. You're hearing people say it was too cold, hypothermia. I heard a thing about a lady dying the next day.
She didn't. That was from like a satirical website.
Right,
and
exactly.
We really have to be aware of those news websites that are jokes. I mean, they're made up stuff. They're made up people, made up. A very good friend of ours thought it was the truth.
And so I think that has a lot to do with why people are like hesitant. Then they say the drought. We had someone today on our page say something about, are we aware that there's a drought in California?
Are we aware there's a drought in half the world? Yes, we are aware of it. But we're doing this for a good cause. We're using our social influence for a good cause. It's a very successful campaign, and everybody knows what ALS and Lou Gehrig's disease is. And just think about it. If you get it, wouldn't you want to know that research money is being spent?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I know that somebody said, oh, all the money's going to the CEO or something. Like people just are taking the low road. That's what I see it. The drought in California is a drop in the bucket in terms of the drought that is in the world, and that's a political thing. We're going to fight wars over water. Yes, we are running out of water, but we also are doing stupid things like building Las Vegas in a desert. Come on, right?
Right.
And so you're just draining lakes and you're draining aquifers for your bottled water, and so think about it when you say that oh, it's wasting water. How long did you spend in the shower this morning?
Right. And as Tara,
how many times do you take your glass water, half your water half full of, or your glass half full of water and throw it out?
Pour it out.
How often do you do that? This is the same. You can't even go there. You can't even go to and use that attitude. I'm shaking my head because we have so many problems in the world, and nobody's doing anything about them except a very few. They're advocates who are doing things about it.
Right.
But think about it. If you had a family member who had ALS, or you were diagnosed today with ALS, Donna, do you know how long you would live? Lou Gehrig lived 2 years. He died at the age of 38. That's about all. And do you know what happens to you? You start to, it's a motor neuron
you can't
disease.
take care of yourself.
You can't take care of, you can't dress yourself, you can't eat, you eventually can't breathe. And if you've been around anybody dying who can't breathe, it is probably the worst thing to imagine.
I
And
just look.
I have been around somebody who couldn't breathe as they were passing away, and it was heart-wrenching, and it was scary and scary. Can I imagine how scary it was for the person going through that? She couldn't get her breath.
Right. And set, and it has raised so much awareness, just like you said, to the disease. And this also opens the window. This opens the window wide open to other causes.
Yeah, to other causes. I don't know if we're seeing Donna or hearing Donna, but to other causes, we're going to start to see challenges like this. Hopefully not stupid ones, like I just saw one about kids lying on train tracks, and so the train passes over them. I've seen that. But let's hope the challenges that come from the charities are well thought out challenges, and that they do use the power of social media and the influence that people have. All those celebrities, we put up a trailer that a guy had edited all the clips of all the different celebrities and sports stars and the teams and the comedians like Jimmy Kimmel and Conan O'Brien doing this challenge, the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. And they were funny, and all these celebrities were in on it. Oprah, LeBron James, Kermit the Frog was in on it. So, it really shows that the power of social media is the wave of the future for raising funds for charities. I mean, it really is. Until social media sort of dies a natural death and something else takes it over, I think that we're going to see more and more of these things. And I think it's good because it does raise awareness, whether you want to be involved in it or not. And I'm just going to try to get Donna back here. Of course, I'm not going to be able to. Can't do two things at once, guys. There we go. Let's see if we can get her back. Just trying to invite her back. I didn't want to do the Ice Bucket Challenge. I didn't want to freeze my ass off. I didn't want to be seen on camera the way I was seen in my workout shorts and my white T-shirt. So now I'm part of the wet T-shirt contest for ALS. I didn't want to do that. My hair was pulled back in a ponytail, and I hadn't showered for 2 days because I knew I was going to do this. And of course, I just wanted to wait and have a nice hot shower after I froze my. Anyway, I've just been yattering on about,
That's okay.
the power of social media and how I think more and more charities will do this.
Well, that's okay. And that's what I was saying before, we had that technical difficulty there. The same thing, more and more charities will do this because that is important, because there was lots of money raised. And, you said something earlier about people wondering what the CEO is going to do with that money. You know what? Once again, stop looking for crap. Hold him accountable. They held Lance Armstrong accountable. When they found out that he was doing the steroids and he was, Live Strong. He was involved with Live Strong, and they got on him. People pushed for that. The public came forward and said, you're doing this. You need to step down. That same accountability, I feel, will be held over this money, because there's so much vested in it. There's money, there's the ice water challenges, so much vested in it that the public is going to watch this. This is our baby too. This is our money too. Anyone that's had water dumped on top of their head, their back, or used, like you said, their hard-earned money for this cause, we're going to be the watchdogs over this. And hopefully we will hold him to the fire to do this.
I was thinking about the people who didn't even respond to the challenges I heard, and some of them were people that I knew, and there was not even a peep from them. They ignored it. And then I saw somebody who, a real class act, a couple of people just came out and said, I declined to take the Ice Bucket Challenge. However, I will donate money. Didn't say how much. So that's part of my thing about this, was that you were telling me how much to donate. $100 if I didn't do it, $10 if I did do it. Then I'm reading here on Wikipedia that Oh, that rule was not. That was just one of the possible rules. So then
Right.
everybody who didn't donate money were called slacktivists,
Yes,
something to
activists.
that effect. So somebody
Yes.
like me, who I have not yet donated my money, but I've pushed my ice bucket challenge out to the world through this show, through my own page. Then a friend of mine, a kid I grew up with in the summers, he's very influential in the communications industry, and he did this whole thing, and I put his video out. His sister asked me to share it, and I put it out on my wall, and he was challenging hockey players from the NHL and guys like that. You know, it was a really cool one, and he lives in Freeport, Bahamas, and he has this foundation, and they do good things for these kids in Freeport, and the thing is I feel I've done a lot for a charity I wouldn't have paid
Right.
one iota of attention to, because everybody else was doing it in a social media, and I didn't feel bullied into it, but if I had, I would have declined it gracefully like some of these people have done. But to ignore it and to think that you're too cool, perhaps, is what you're thinking.
Well,
I'm not really, comfortable with that. I kind of look at you in a different light. I mean, I do now see who you are, because you're showing me who you are.
right. And it is about, once again, it is totally about choice, but it's also about the way you do it, and just like you said, to totally ignore it, and you've been called out to do it, to totally ignore it, that's one thing, but to respectfully decline, and whether you donate or not,
Yeah.
no one held a gun to anyone's head, and that's the thing, whether you donate or not, whether you do the ice challenge or not, it is truly up to you. But once again, we've got to stop doing that, oh, he's such a freaking loser because he does it or doesn't do it, or they're so wasteful because they just dumped all that water in their head when there's kids in Africa who would love that water. We've got to stop doing that. We've got to stop letting people make their own decisions without questioning or judging why.
It's like the declining thing. I think that it shows a lot of class when somebody declines it, because it's hard.
Exactly.
It's hard to decline it publicly, to say, I'm not interested in doing this. Thank you very much for challenging me, but I'm going to respectfully decline it. And I don't think that you have to say why.
Nope.
What kind of bothers me is the people that just ignore the challenge,
right,
hoping it goes away, hoping that nobody notices. But
right.
People do notice, and I think that that's. Oh, people are gonna kill me. It's like a lack of breeding or something. No, it's a lack of respect for your friends. It's a lack of respect for the charity, for the success of the event. And I think that there's some fear there that you may be labeled as a slacktivist or slacker or whatever they're calling people that don't get involved. Have the courage to stand up and say, I'm not interested in doing this, thank you very much. I mean, Patrick Stewart, who is best known for his role as Captain Picard on Star Trek, I'm a Star Trek fan.
Right. I
still watch Star Trek every night before I go to bed if I can. It's like a nursery rhyme for me. He did it differently. If you go and watch the video that was at the beginning of our show, he takes an ice bucket full of ice, his tongs, his probably silver tongs, and his little glass, and he puts the ice in his glass, just like this, puts the ice in his glass, and then he pours a bit of scotch in it and has a drink.
Right. That's his challenge.
And I've watched some of these things, and they're very creative. They're starting to get very creative. I think that the ones where the heavy buckets are being dropped on their heads, that's just stupidity. That's just stupidity. It's an ice bucket. So an ice bucket is actually what you put your wine in. For those of you who don't drink wine, you get your ice bucket and you put your wine in, or your 6 little tiny little cervezas, your little Mexican beers in there. And it's a small little bucket. People are putting out beer coolers
Yeah,
and,
but they're
and
calling
like
but they're
Rubbermaid
calling it different things. Right.
Yeah, it's
Some are
crazy. And
calling it
so,
ice bucket. Some are calling it ice water. I've heard it called cold water. You know, I've heard it called everything. And so, yeah, they're going to put it in everything,
and it's not
everything
a new,
but the ice bucket.
it's not a new challenge. I read it was done. It's been done.
Yeah,
It just
it's been
happened
done.
to hit social media at the right time. It hit in July or something. I mean, it's been very quick.
Well, you can blame social media for the rise of it because look how quick we can get it out there now. As quickly as my kids were taking it, I was posting it right up. Their challenges, posting it right up. And so with social media, being what it is now, you can issue those challenges left and right. And to me, like I said, it was a good thing because, like I said, it raised awareness. It taught, like my son, he didn't know. He wanted to do it, but he didn't know. So I got to show him what it was. He didn't, they didn't do it. He didn't do it without knowing what it was for.
Mm-hmm.
He knew what it was for.
So, you know that these kinds of things are now going to be the norm for a while until they peter out. So, what wouldn't you do for a charity? What challenge would you not do for a charity?
I don't mess with cockroaches. I won't take a chair. I won't take a challenge. Dump cockroaches. Walking. I won't do that. I won't do anything that compromises what I believe in. I won't do anything like that. There's a whole range of things I can tell you what I won't do. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't even get my flipping hair wet. Are you kidding? So let's keep it real. And I'm keeping it real. I refuse. So there's limits on what I will and won't do. But I'm always up for a challenge, and whether I respectfully decline it or do it, I can't wait to see what people do. Someone said today there ought to be a weave challenge. Been there, done that. I don't have to wear weave if I don't want. I have a ton of other things I can put on my head. But I think we're going to see more innovative things. I think we're going to see some pretty cool challenges come out.
Well, one of the craziest things I saw, one of the negative comments was that this challenge is driven by human narcissism. That we want to be on video, we want to show the world we're doing this, and we want to show the world our faces. And I have to say, no.
Well, what the hell?
Did you see my video? I wish I had a wardrobe consultant. That is just like what I wear out to the garden, to work, to run around the house. I don't go shopping in that, right? Do you know what I mean? Like that was like my painting clothes. And
right.
I looked at the video and I'm like, ay, ay, ay. I look like this old lady with a big wide ass. And then I had like the wet t-shirt and I had a white t-shirt on, so I had a bathing suit top underneath, but you could see it, and I was just like, oh, that's not how I want the world to see me. And then, of course, because I hadn't showered, my hair was all just like greasy looking, and it was all pulled back, and no makeup. It's not what I chose. Like, I didn't, that's not narcissism. This is narcissism.
But once again, isn't that what social media is for? That's just like people saying, you take a selfie every day. So what? You know what? So what? Once again, it's people. This challenge was really fun, and I would do it all over again, the exact same way. But what really, like I said, chaps me is people that are making, like I said on the post, they're making so much more out of it. Either you do it or you don't. Either you do it or you don't. If you don't want to do it, like you said, respectfully decline it and move on. Everyone's wondering if President Obama's going to do it. He says he's not going to do it. Okay, so leave him alone.
But George W. Bush did. George W. Bush. Well, his wife got him, but I think
I love it.
He knew it. I think he knew it.
I think it's great. If you go to the ALS site, you see so many of them. You see some creative ones. George Takei from Star Trek, he did a sci-fi one. and it was fun. It was great. It's funny, you know. Stephen King's is amazing.
But
His.
don't put your dog in it because they don't know what's happening. They're just going to get really cold and scared, and
Yeah, don't put your baby in
don't
it
put your
either.
puppy or your baby in the shot and pour ice water. She did her best to fall in the pool and drown, but that was her choice.
Well, I
But
had
so,
three of my
you know,
grandchildren. Three of my grandchildren stood with their mother and did it.
yeah.
Um, there's some ones on there that are really pretty bad. There's a little girl that did it yesterday, and she dropped the F-bomb, and she had to be 3 years old. And all you got to do is go look on, Google it. Google little girl cusses at parents. I don't know what you do, but they poured
Well,
the water on her, and
well,
she
imagine it actually. I think it actually mimics what somebody with ALS might feel like. That momentary loss of feeling that
control.
control that you have. Imagine that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week
Yeah,
for the
and
rest of
I think
your
that's why they did the water.
short existence. So, yeah, they might have done it for that. And the other thing is is if you are feeling left out because you haven't been nominated, pay
Nominate
attention.
yourself.
Pay attention to that feeling, and that's just an attitude that you've got. It's low self-esteem. It's like not being picked for the sports team, right? At school, I was always picked last because I was the klutz. So the thing is make sure you're aware of that attitude, that feeling, or that emotion that comes up, that you're feeling left out from being nominated. And yes, go ahead, as Donna said, and nominate yourself and do something amazing.
That's it. And and that's the whole thing. And if you look at the attitudes surrounding these things, I think you named a few of the attitudes. The attitude of feeling left out, woe is me, no one will challenge me, so instead I'll make it, I'll ridicule it and talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
The attitude of I'm too cool to do it,
Mm-hmm.
There's various attitudes, that people are using towards this thing. But the biggest thing I can say is whatever works for you. If if this works for you, do it. If it doesn't, then sit back and watch others do it. But just because it doesn't work for you doesn't mean you have to go out there and dig up the worst horror stories or try to make someone feel like they're using all the water. Or don't forget about the kids that are dying in Africa that don't have water. Stop doing that. Just stop doing that.
Yeah, you probably don't go to the local country fair at the end of the summer season and into the fall and go up to the guys that are doing the hot dog contest and say, "Do you know that there's children in Africa starving?" You don't do that because it's just part of our culture and part of our life. One day we probably will. Well, there's a lot of people that are starving in North America, but just let it go. Let go of the negativity.
Let it go. Let it go.
And on that note, it is time to let go of the wheel and put it in park for the week. Thank you very much, Donna M. Butler, for driving tonight.
Well, you're welcome. And that wasn't a note. On that sour pitch, yeah, we're gonna put it in park, put the cover on the virtual red Corvette until next week. You know what? It's all good until somebody gets hurt. Let's just leave it like that. It's all fun and games, all for charity until someone gets hurt. And then when someone gets hurt or when someone does something that someone else doesn't like, we put up that guard and we start doing all we can to destroy it. So stop. Stop doing that. Let's just have a positive mindset for the rest of the week. Let's think positive. Let's go out there and do some good until we meet next week. Keep liking us on Facebook, The Attitude Shift. Follow Siobhan Shaw and me, Donna M. Butler, on our personal pages. We really go to town sometimes. Siobhan puts things up that are kind of out there. Random Thoughts of Siobhan Shaw. That's what it should be called. That's what it should be called. Random Thoughts of Siobhan Shaw and little PSA quickies by Donna M. Butler. Have a great rest of the week, everybody. Keep shifting, and we'll talk to you again really soon. Peace out. Mwah.